Yeah! I love watching Awesome Dude 900's Toy Story reviews. This isn't a review, Jesse. This is a ranking list. But it should still be a really good list. I'm ready. Are you, Buzz? Completely. What about you, Slink? Yeah, man, let's get this over with. I'm ready for bed. Oh my goodness. Hi, guys. I'm so glad you guys were able to make it. I am such big fans. Do I have 6 new subscribers? Anyone? Anyone? Nope. Nah. Sorry. Nope. Nah, man. Aw, darn. Well, that's okay. I'm glad you guys were able to make it. Anyway, let's get straight into this list. Alright, coming in last place is going to be Toy Story 1, the original. Now, a lot of people are going to get mad at me. A lot of people say the original is better than all of the sequels. But let me just explain myself here. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way first. Why is this in last place? I just feel that the themes of this movie are a little bit lighter than in the other movies, and I like some of the darker themes more, but the theme doesn't matter in the movie. Well, it does on this list, but in the movie, it doesn't bring the quality of the movie down that much because the characters are amazing in this movie. This movie is still great because of these characters, because of Woody, because of Buzz, because of Rex, because of Bo Peep, because of Potato Head. If they didn't have all of these main characters, these mainstay characters, especially Woody and Buzz, those two make up the Toy Story universe, and I just love both of them so much. I love Buzz's demeanor in this movie. He's just a very funny character. He thinks he's a space ranger 90% of the movie. I'd say around like 85, 90. But most of the movie, he believes that he is a real space ranger. And that leads to some very funny moments. It also leads to a very heartwarming moment at the end. That's one of my favorite moments in the Toy Story film, when he sees that commercial in Sid's dad's house and realizes that he's a toy, and he tries to fly but fails. And it leads to a very funny scene afterward in the toy room with Sid's sister, but you do feel that oomph. You get that hit of emotion when that scene does come in, and it hits hard. I mean, like, that's one of the most emotional moments in all 4 movies, and I love that moment to death. I love this whole movie to death. Don't get mad at me. I think the "you are a toy" scene is slightly overrated, but it is a very funny scene, and it is a very funny argument, but I just think it's slightly overrated. Still, great movie, really like it. Like the villain in this movie, he doesn't really understand that he's doing evil deeds. He does, but he's just letting his frustration out on these toys. He doesn't understand that they're alive until the very end. And when he does understand that they're alive, he goes and runs away straight away. Obviously, he's scared. He's like, what's going on? He probably didn't play with any of those toys ever again. He's probably traumatized and can't walk into a Toys R Us anymore. But still, great movie. Set up the chemistry between Buzz and Woody. Yeah. Just didn't have those darker themes that I enjoy in these movies. Slink, wake up. That's disrespectful. Sorry. I'm up. Whoa, why am I like that? I don't know, is it comfortable? Yeah. I think keep on. Wow, Toy Story won in last place. That's surprising. I wonder how the fans are gonna feel about that. Hopefully we all stay nice to each other in the comments. I bet they will, Jesse. Alright guys, coming in at number 3 is going to be Toy Story 4. Now, the themes in this movie, I really enjoy them. It's the theme of this movie is moving on and going other places, and that's kind of the theme of the third movie, but this movie continues on that theme. Woody was not complete when he was at Bonnie's house because he wasn't Bonnie's favorite toy. He wanted to be happy. He wasn't happy not being Bonnie's favorite toy, so he wanted to go off and find that. And when they went on that road trip and Forky escaped, which I'll get to Forky in a minute. Love that character. There's a few characters I really like in this movie. This movie is funny. I mean, like, it's way funnier than the last 3 movies. Two characters that I think really portray this very well are Ducky and Bunny. Oh my gosh, these guys are hilarious. I do not think they had a serious moment in this movie, but that's not what they were made for. They were made to make you laugh. And that's what they did for me. There was one scene, one joke in this movie that I just loved. If you guys don't want to be spoiled, actually, no spoilers. We're not going to have any spoilers for Toy Story 4 in this video. Just go see the movie. You'll see a running gag. There's one with Buzz. That's right. You buddy right there. Yeah. Yeah. There's a running gag with Bunny and Ducky, who unfortunately could not make today. I guess they had their bedtime around 10:30. This is around, I'm making this video around 11 o'clock. These are all the guys up. Though, Slinky, he's kind of drifting off over there. The other guys, they're up. They're ready. They're enjoying this list. Yeah, speaking of Jesse and Slinky, they are barely in this movie at all. That is why I kind of have a little bit of a problem with it. I wish they would have kept the original, the OG toys in them more often, other than just Woody and Buzz. I mean, yeah, I understand they're the main characters, but Slinky, Rex, Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, Jesse, Bullseye, come on, give them some love. Even some love for Bonnie's toys. Buttercup. Buttercup has a really funny joke in this movie. It's kind of a running gag with him. We only get to see him a couple times. Like, his only gag in that movie, his only lines in that movie are that gag. And I loved that gag. That gag was funny. Yeah, I can't really explain much of Toy Story 4. Great villain. Loved the villain in this movie. The dummies, they were kind of generic. They were needed for the villain to be stronger. But they didn't really have a purpose other than that in this movie. Whenever the bad guy Gabby is beat, they leave. They're not in the rest of the movie. Gabby Gabby does not die in this movie. I don't think that's a spoiler, but she doesn't die. She does not die. Actually, that's not a spoiler. The villains never die in these movies. So yeah, I really enjoyed the villain of this movie. She was a lot different than the other villains. They gave her a lot more heart, which I really enjoy. Yeah, really like this movie. Just wish some of the OG characters were in there more often. Alright guys, coming in second place is going to be Toy Story 2. Now, the poster for this movie really sums up the entire film. It's just this huge cast of characters, old and new, coming together for one film, and I really liked these characters. These characters were really good. Some characters didn't get as much screen time as I hoped they would. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, Slinky Dog, Rex. But Jessie, Woody, and Buzz do get a lot of time in this movie. Especially Woody. This is really his story. And that's kind of continued on in the next film. That's kind of what I love about these movies. They continue stories. You can watch all 4 of these movies together, and it's just one huge, long, probably like 4 or 5.5 hour story. So yeah, that's what I really enjoy about these films. And the themes in this movie were awesome. They kind of carried through from Toy Story 2 to Toy Story 3. Yeah, the question in Toy Story 2 is what happens when Andy grows up and leaves the toys. And in this one, that's what happens. He grows up and he has to leave his toys. And it's one of the that ending scene, I don't cry at it every time, but I understand why people do. That was kind of a great book end to the Toy Story story. Or so we thought. Toy Story 4 was really good. But yeah, really enjoyed Toy Story 3. Liked the villain. Lotso, he was kind of petty, but he had a really, very villainous nature to him. His backstory, I didn't really like that much. He was like, it was like he got lost and replaced one time, so he got really pissed off, and now he's trapping other toys, not letting them go back to their families because he thinks that their families won't love them either, which is a good motivation and a good backstory. I just think it's a little bit petty. Just because one kid messed you up, like did you over like 5 years ago or however long ago it was. It was years ago, I'm sure, because he's collected so many of those toys there, and he's gained followers and loyal followers. Well, I guess not loyal because everyone leaves him in the end, but still, Big Baby was very loyal in the beginning. But yeah, I really enjoyed this film and hope they get I hope some of the characters from this film come back. Like a lot of them didn't come back, like Big Baby, Ken and Barbie didn't come back. I really want to see them again. Yeah. Great flick. Let's move on to number one. Alright, my dudes, coming in at number one is going to be Toy Story 2. Now, this is the movie that always makes me tear up. I don't know why. For everyone else, it's either Toy Story 3 or Toy Story 1, maybe now even Toy Story 4. But for me, for some reason, it's Toy Story 2. I know there's others out there that love this one the most, but I think I am definitely in the minority that loves Toy Story 2 the most. I don't even know where to start with this movie. This movie is just so great. Let's start with the continuing story from Toy Story 2. Toy Story 1 all to Toy Story 2. Woody and Buzz are now friends. Obviously, they were friends at the end of Toy Story 1, and that continued into Toy Story 2. But this kind of touches on the fact that, like, what if Andy wouldn't want to play with Woody anymore because his arm got ripped in this film. But obviously that didn't happen. He didn't get thrown away or anything. But this kind of continues on his fear of him being on top of the world in Toy Story 1 to being pushed away because of Buzz, and then him being able to come, or him thinking that he was pushed away because of Buzz, and now his fear is that he'll be thrown away because he's broken, and so he gets stolen by Al, and he goes to Al's toy barn. Al, great character, by the way. Really love Al. Really funny villain. I especially love the scene where the Cheetos are in his pocket. Great scene. Like everyone, I love that scene. I don't know why, but I seen it as the most satisfying scene in Toy Story 2 when Woody comes in when the cleaner comes in to clean up Woody and sew up his arm. Thought the other Buzz was hilarious in this movie. This is also the movie where Barbie was introduced. Really liked Barbie in this movie. She wasn't a main character like in Toy Story 3, but she was definitely a very funny character in this movie. Yeah, loved this movie. Loved Woody's adventure. This movie had a lot of characters that it introduced a lot of characters into the universe that are some of my favorite characters today. Jesse, Buzz, Prospector. Actually, Prospector doesn't stay after. Wait, no. Did I say Jesse and Buzz? No. Jesse and Bullseye. I'm sorry. Jesse and Bullseye. Al. Like I said, Al is a great character. Buster. Buster was not introduced in this movie. He was actually introduced in the final scene of Toy Story. But this is his first full movie where he gets to stay the whole movie. So really liked Buster in this. He was kind of like Woody's second Bullseye, and then Prospector. Really loved Prospector in this movie, even though he didn't get to stay for Toy Story 3 or 4, or he wasn't in Toy Story 1. Really liked his character. I really liked Al. I really liked Zurg. I really liked the other Buzz. Sadly, a lot of the great characters in this movie are only in this movie. I liked Wheezy. Wheezy, I think, was. I'm trying to think. Yes, Wheezy was only in this movie. Wheezy was sympathetic and he was great. Yeah, I could think of maybe a couple more off of my head, but I think I got all of them out of the way. The returning characters are great, obviously. Slinky, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, the LGMs. Actually, this was Mrs. Potato Head's first movie, too. This is her first appearance. We heard about her at the end of Toy Story 1, but this is her first appearance on screen. Really liked them together. Obviously, Woody and Buzz. You know, you gotta love Woody and Buzz. Buzz was actually really funny in this movie. I really liked Buzz's journey. It was kind of Woody's journey was kind of the more heartfelt journey, and especially that song with Jessie makes me tear up every time. But Buzz's journey was kind of the more comedic journey, which that isn't a bad thing. They kind of needed that little more of a comedic journey to balance out with that drama in the movie. Because if the whole movie was comedic, it would be boring because there would be no weight to it. But if the whole movie was drama, it would have too much weight, and it would just be very boring. Some movies can't understand that, i.e., Fantastic Four 2015, but these two plots together in this one movie make it awesome. I really like this movie. It is my favorite Toy Story movie. Obviously, I like the themes of what if we have to, of us, not what if we are inevitably gonna forget and get rid of toys, and how the toys feel about that. Obviously, they're not happy about it and they don't want it to happen, but in the end, they all just have to accept that one day it's going to happen. In kind of the deeper meaning of this film, is for humans, we have to let people go. We have to, sometimes they leave us and we have to let them go, either through death or through moving away or breaking up, leaving a relationship. Sometimes it's really hard, but we can't just run away from those. We can't just run away from those feelings like Woody tried to do. We have to accept those feelings and let them pass. And when they happen, they happen. And in Toy Story 3, it did happen, but they did stay together, just like they said they were going to. And this movie is great because of that. The deeper meanings in this film, the comedy in this film, the villain in this film. I just love this film. I love all of these movies. Each of these movies has a linear story that I love. I mean, it was so hard to make this list with these amazing characters, especially Buzz and Woody. Yeah, and even all the side characters, Bo Peep, Slinky, Rex, Sketch. If anyone remembers him, he was a little Etch-a-Sketch. Ham, Mr. Potato Head, Mrs. Potato Head, the LGMs, Zurg, even though he was only in the second one, Al, Buster, even Andy. Andy is great in these films. I wouldn't say he's perfect, but Toy Story 3 definitely pushed him up in tier to a very good character. In Toy Story 1 and 2, he was just the owner, the kid that owned them. But in Toy Story 3, I really liked Andy. Even though we didn't get to see much of him, when we did get to, what we did get to see of him, you saw that he really did care about these toys, and he didn't just want to throw them out. And Bonnie in the fourth one, Bonnie was great. You saw how much she cared about these toys. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your rankings in the comments below. Let me know if you're one of those people that like the original the best and think they go up as they move along, or if you think that they increase in quality as they move along, or if you just think that each of these movies, you have them in a different order, like I did. So yeah, leave those thoughts in the comments below, and I will be back again next week with another video for you guys. Have an awesome week, my dudes. This is your Awesome Dude 900 saying, peace out.